the devastating impact of growing lawlessness in KwaZulu-Natal. Last week, a body of a 4-year-old KwaMashu toddler was found with multiple stab wounds.
Well, over that, 9 people were killed in KwaNdengezi at the weekend. And just yesterday, bodies of 2 women were discovered in KwaMashu. Let's find out about what authorities are doing now. Talking to us this morning is MEC for Community Safety and Liaison. That's MEC Begintuli. MEC, good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. MEC, I have to say, as a woman in this country, I am concerned, and I'm sure I speak for every single woman, mother in this country, reading up daily that women's lives are on the line, that children as young as 4 years old would have multiple stab wounds. What is happening in KwaZulu-Natal? Is there a war against women and children within the province?
Good morning to you and good morning to the viewers, and thank you very much for having me. Indeed, we are very worried about the situation that is taking place in KwaZulu-Natal. As you would realize that it seems to me there's a shift and the patterns of crime is shifting from time to time. And we are already trying with the help of the Minister of Police, Begitele, trying to put together a strategy to deal with this war against women and children in KZN.
MEC, while you put these sort of strategies together, and I know Becky clearly said he's going to be setting up a clean-up operation. I mean, I want to find out what that entails. But what do you think is leading to this sort of crime? What is going wrong in the communities there? We
realize that most of these crimes are murders, and they happen mostly over weekends. And alcohol and drugs are playing a major role in these killings. And in most cases, a use of firearms are imminent. And in our view is that we need to clean out and take out all the firearms that people are having in their hands, not only in KZN, but in the country. And as part of the turnaround strategy, we think we need to remove these firearms in whichever way from our communities.
Drugs, alcohol, you mentioned, MEC, you believe are some of the reasons why you're seeing these tragic numbers when it comes to killings. But, I mean, KwaZulu-Natal is also notorious for mass killings. We've seen mass assassinations, families being wiped out, people being shot at a time, multiple people being murdered at a time. Political killings also have been, come into question within the province. Can you attribute some of these mass killings within the province to that as well?
Well, political killings are a little bit low at this time, but as you would recall, people that were assassinated on the 27th, which was on Saturday, within a very short space of time, within 8 hours to be specific, people had gone out for the joy for the weekend, and as they were coming back, they were stopped and they were forced out of the vehicle. They were let lie down and they were shot at a close range. Any person that is sober would not do that. Because if a person is showing no arrogance, why would you, if he had not used drugs, continue killing that particular person? And that's where the 5 people were killed, and there was 1 survivor. The second one was where 4 bodies were found, which are attributed to a crime, a stop theft crime, which we condemn with the strongest terms, because you can't take the law into your hands and kill people like that.
Sorry, MEC, forgive me, can I just jump in here? And I want to pick up on that point about not taking the law into your hands. I know Becky clearly touched on that as well. But if you look at the task force that has been set up to deal with the political crimes there, the taxi murders, now the farm murders as well. I mean, how can people not take this into their own hands? They feel that the police are just not there, that they are left to fend for their own safety, and they are in harm's way. They are frightened.
Well, we do get information an outcry from the communities that some of our police stations are not doing well. And as such, let's start from Hibadin. We started after getting these 4 bodies of women that were found in the sugarcane, killed and decomposed. And we have put up some measures to try and deal with the witnesses that were identified in those stations. In KwaNdengezi, like for instance, we went there on Monday with Minister Pegitele, and we decided to put up a team that will revamp the station. And as and when we discover that there are witnesses, we will really do move very quickly. But over and above that, the Department of Community Safety and Liaison, under the leadership of the Police Secretariat, Mr. Ngai, like Normandy in Newcastle, we put up a team that will do an oversight in all of our stations so that we don't get surprises that this station is not working and people are complaining. We want to get the information before any person would complain about the weaknesses in the station.
And let's speak about that, MEC, particularly about the progress you've made so far in making arrests. You speak about KwaNdengezi. I mean, that area has seen those multiple killings. Now, in KwaMashu, we're seeing again 2 women being shot dead, being left in the field. I mean, I'm sure on a daily basis you get constant reports about killings, murders, and people left basically to die and decompose in the field. Have you made any arrests so far? Any progress with which you can update the community about?
We did make progress. Like yesterday, 3 people about the kid, a 4-year-old a girl that was found in the bush. There are 3 people that have been taken by police for questioning.
And these are relatives, MEC. Are these relatives of the child?
Yes, they are relatives of the child because the child went missing on the 23rd, but they did not report the case to the police. Even for those ladies that were found dead in the bush, and there were no reports that the reports of a missing persons that were reported to the police. And this is what is worrying us, that you would have a child, 4-year-old child, going missing, and the family members are not worried about that. And not a well-thinking person in mind would let a child missing and not get worried and report to the police.
You've got a Sophia and Task, a busy man. We're going to let you go and do your work, but thanks very much for talking to us this morning. I mean, it really is just horrific what's happening there, and that's so indicative of what's happening in other parts of the country. This unbelievable crime against women and children, and the gruesomeness of it. I mean, I know any crime is gruesome, but the sort of the extent of the torture and disrespect is gobsmacking, and it's something that really needs to be tackled from the ground.
Absolutely. And I think, speaking of the strategies that the MEC was speaking about, there needs to be preventative strategies to preserve life and to ensure the safety, because the MEC's responsibility is on community safety, not reaction after one has lost their life. So I think when they continue with those discussions and strategies with the police minister, they need to take that preventative strategies very seriously to make sure that children, women and all residents of KZN's lives are, of course, safe.
Otherwise they're petrified.
They're very petrified.